40 points for Jalen Williams, 31 for SGA, the MVP. But those ain't the numbers I want to talk about. I want to talk about 26 and 24. That's the age of potentially the best Batman Robin duel that we're going to ever see. Jalen Williams and SGA might be the best Batman and Robin in basketball. And I'm not just talking about now. I'm talking about history. I know there's MJ and Pippen. I know there's Kobe and Shaq. But this might be the best. 121-09 victory, and they're one win away from an NBA title. Jalen, Adar, what do you think when I say that? When I say this might be the best Batman Robin duel ever. This might be the beginning of it.
I say, short answer, stop it. Let us not be prisoners of the moment. It is a great accomplishment. The two of them combined for 71 points.
My dog J-Dub, I think he's the best, and I'm be prisoner of the moment again. I think he's the best two-way player in the NBA right now at 24 years old.
First thing I thought of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Age-wise, probably got them. Jalen Williams was sitting here putting a stamp on his game and saying, I'm here. You're not just going to keep talking about SGA as if I'm not here. Mm-hmm. So put some respect on my name. I can do this too.
Jalen Williams is efficient. 14 of 24. And right when the momentum was swinging in the Pacers' favor after Mr. McConnell there went crazy, decided to just say, hey, I'm going to put on a basketball exhibit. Nonetheless, you give credit where credit is due, right? Regardless of the results. If someone puts in the work and you see it, the results of that probably took countless hours. But back to Jalen Williams really quickly. I think he noticed the air was leaving that building, and he put it on himself to dominate in that moment. And I think it allowed SGA to maybe be off ball, take the defense away, and allowed him to be a lot more aggressive. And I've noticed J-Dub, he's always waited. And I think if he's going to be effective in this Batman Robin role that you speak of, because I don't offer too much pushback. When I look across the league, if they were able to win as many games as they were to come out as the top seed, they have multiple paths that they could explore next season or during this offseason where they make a trade to retool, because one of the greatest risks is staying the same and then having people kind of figure you out, and maybe you have that target on your back. It's a new young team, doesn't know how to defend that. So if I was OKC, we win this championship, as tough as it may be, I'm putting on my GM hat right now. Yeah. I'm thinking about maybe potentially moving a Chet and seeing what I could do to. And I hate to talk like that because it's moments of celebration, but it's a business. And to your argument, I wanted to go down that path is if they do become that Batman and Robin, I don't think staying pat with the same roster is going to do it. Everyone's going to have a crazy offseason. So fast forward and being like forward thinking, you have to, line that up with SGA and Jalen Williams, I think. And so it's a great moment if they draft right and add the right pieces to where this could be a potential Spurs situation where SGA hands it off to J-Dub, J-Dub hands it off to be determined. So
yeah, no, that's what's gonna be interesting about with OKC in the offseason, because they have so many moves they can make with the assets they have. You have players already that are high value players, plus you have draft picks. They can do a lot of things, and obviously they're going to run into a problem of the same with KD, Russ, and Harden back in the day, where money is going to be an issue. Yep. So they're going to have to figure out who they want to pay and whatnot. And in my mind, yeah, I'm with you. What better time to start deciding on that, after a championship when you're on top? Why wait till you fall off? So like you said, winning the chip, you want to celebrate it, you want to be, it's for everybody. This is just what they all work for. But at the end of the day, and Sam Presti is one of those guys. At the end of the day, the NBA is a business, and if you want to stay on top, you got to keep it moving. And let's talk about this a little bit. This whole series is full of guys that are good basketball players that a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah.
We talked about Aaron Nesmith. He was I believe he got picked in the lottery when he came out. Ben Matherin.
Andrew
Oh,
Nembhard.
Nimhard. All these dudes. Like, people getting to see the versatility and growth of Miles Turner. How he stretched his game to the 3-point line. And it's this whole Casey Wallace, who went back to the bench. They started him early. He went back to the bench and he did what I expect him to do. He comes off the bench, creates a spark. He's tough nosed. He's another guy. He guards like 1 to 3, and I ain't stood next to him, but he looked like he's 6'1",
Mm-hmm.
and he could guard 1 through 3.
But that's what having heart will do for you on a defensive end, right? You make up for the measurables if you're able to play your angles, you're aggressive. And I think today the Thunder were diving for loose balls because they understand these are the very last minutes of the NBA season. And if I'm the coach, I think Rick Carlisle tried to call a bunch of timeouts to stop the bleeding, but it was just a little too much for them to overcome.
Not enough.